I will not continue this. I am a bit scared of the feedback I will receive from you guys, but I decided to write this anyway. I need help. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know how to put it into words, but I feel I fell out of love with my husband. I care about him, he is a good father, but I just can't seem to imagine us growing old together. I am married for almost 20 years, together 25, with 2 teenage kids. Both of us with stressful jobs, both kids in high-performance sports with a lot of practices and competitions on the schedule. Problems on my side started in 2013. It was the first time I thought about a split. I am saying on my side because as per my husband, everything is all right. Every time I am trying to bring up something, he is very closed off and dismissive. A bit of a background, most of our fights in the past were related to my weight and the different parenting styles. Parenting-wise, he is a very strict dad, I am more loving and laid back. He is very traditional, sometimes to the extreme, whereas I am more open-minded. I was overweight most of my married life and the last years were absolutely horrible. The words I heard from him along the years still hurt now and I can't seem to forget. It wasn't an everyday thing, but every couple of weeks we had a blow-up regarding my weight. Most of the fights in front of the kids, he can't help himself. And every time we had a fight, I said to myself this is the last time I let him emotionally and verbally abuse me. But we continued this cycle for years. I think there is a lot of resentment on my part for how he treated me and a lot on his side for me not doing something to lose the weight. It felt like he made me a favor for staying with me. Last year I decided to have weight loss surgery, as I was battling this weight problem for 20 years. He was not supportive of my decision, so I went through the whole process alone. I really thought that if I will be at a normal weight, our relationship will get better. I am now close to my goal weight and our relationship is worse than ever. I did this for me, but deep down I did it to save our marriage. After surgery, my tolerance level for any BS is 0. I get irritated very quickly, I am sensitive, and his attitude is not helping. What the heck is wrong with you? This is what I hear every day. I am probably not the best communicator, but it's hard to talk to someone who thinks he's perfect. I find it hard to let him get close to me. I find every excuse in the books to stay away from him. I exercise up to 90 minutes a day, so I am trying to do that when we are supposed to be together. I am trying to figure out my feelings, but I just can't. I really thought I was over all the things that he said in the past, and we made some progress on coming together on the parenting style, but I still feel I want to get away. He once told me that I am crazy for thinking of breaking up. He doesn't cheat, he is not physically abusive, has a good job, he loves me, and he is a good father. And he is right. He is all that, but why is this still not enough for me? We met when I was 14 years old. We were so different. I've changed so much and he changed too. My older one is almost 16. He will be driving soon, so we will have more free time. He is traveling all around the world competing, so it's been stressful. My younger one still has a few years until he will be more independent. My husband is 7 years older than me. I am making an effort lately and we are intimate once or twice a week. I am 7 months post-opus. Physically I feel okay. I am in the best shape of my life, exercising daily and eating extremely healthy. Mentally, I am struggling. Someone asked why I am getting irritated easily. It's all the little things that set me off. For example, when he is offering me foods and drinks that I cannot have and will never be able to have. This shows me he knows nothing about my new way of eating, and this gets me mad. He never attended any of my support meetings at the hospital, never came to any of my appointments in the last 18 months. Since I started this process, I left books and info all around the house and he never read them. I had to explain what the surgery is about a few days before the surgery. He is proud of me now and always compliments me, but I just don't care. I am a very independent person and I've reached a point where even if he offers to attend a meeting with me, I don't want him there. Another thing that set me off was when he bought me underwear a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to do a nice gesture but bought 9 pairs in my former size. I just lost it. I am down 110 pounds and probably 4 sizes, and he still buy me the old size from which I already have probably 50 pairs. He apologized the next day and said it was a mistake. He is making an effort lately to improve our relationship. I told him I need more from him, that I am in a fragile state right now. The verbal abuse is gone. It was always related to my weight. He buys me flowers every week. He is trying to be more understanding with the kids, not so strict. So I don't know why I can't move on, why I feel so unhappy and on the edge. I will follow your advice and book an appointment with a therapist. For me first, and then I will suggest marriage counseling. We started dating when I was 15. And to be honest, I chased him. It took almost a year to convince him to go on a date with me. He always said that I was too young for him. But I was so in love with him, I didn't care. He was always extremely considerate and we had a good relationship. We got married when I was 21. Some days I feel like my brain cannot catch up with all the changes that are happening. It's like looking from outside and asking myself who this person is. Not sure if this makes sense. Overall, I am a mess. There is a lot of resentment towards him for the way he spoke to me in the last few years. He didn't make me feel secure in a long time. Even if it was not a daily or weekly occurrence, kind of make me doubt that he was sincere when he was being nice to me. He is a good man and generally very respectful, but when we were fighting, he was losing his temper and saying things that he would regret. I thought that losing weight will resolve all my problems, and it didn't. Some days I am mad, hurt, some days I just can't stand him. Everything he says makes me irritable. Other days, I am just indifferent. I want to change and make this work, but right now everything seems forced and fake. I was looking at him this morning, complimenting him that he looks good. He is an extremely attractive man, fit and handsome. We were always seen as the perfect couple, perfect family. My parents love him, he is the son they never had. It is a lot of pressure on me to make this work. I can't step back and make a clear decision. I do agree that we need to communicate more. That's not my forte. I don't like how he reacts when I start a serious conversation, so I back off quickly. He is a very strict dad, but nothing to do with image standard. More like school and behavior. He is right most of the times, but the way he delivers the message is not something I approve of. Our kids are well behaved, great grades in school, especially the older one, and both excel in sports. He is controlling, and when I point that out, he tries to listen to me, then the next day we start over. But both kids love him. He is very involved with all their activities, a very hands-on dad. I always make an effort not to discuss these problems in front of the kids. I let him do whatever he wants, and then I approach him in the evening, before going to bed. We had countless discussions on this subject, and we are at a point now where we are both compromising. We started MC last week, and I also started individual counseling. We found a really good counselor. I trust him. But things got worse over the summer, and his control issues came up to the surface more than ever. I feel like I'm suffocating. I got to a point where I would prefer to stay in this marriage just for the kids and for financial reasons. I am that desperate, but he would never accept a relationship without the physical part. I really think he is feeling threatened by my new lifestyle. He is even trying to control the amount of exercise I do and the gym membership. According to him, the gym membership and hiring a trainer for a few sessions is useless. The MC told him to back off for a while, give me some space. It was hell on earth since that session. He is like a lion in a cage, cornering me on every issue. My older son is starting to ask questions, so I need to talk to him this weekend. Yeah, so overall, not good. I said I would stay for financial reasons. We both make good money, both in management positions. He maybe makes 10K more than me, but with the kids' sports, it would be hard to offer them the same opportunities if we split. They travel a lot, and it's hard to keep up with the expenses even now. I am concentrating on myself lately, not so much on the relationship, and I am not sure if this is good. But I feel drained. I can't deal with this turmoil anymore, as I feel I am losing my mind. I have reached the goal weight that the doctors set up for me. I am working out 6 times a week, and I am in the best shape of my adult life. I feel so strong physically and so damn proud of myself. I am starting to see what everyone is saying here, that he is feeling insecure now. He's afraid of losing me. I don't think he ever thought of us separating until the MC mentioned 2 words, friends and co-parenting. His face went completely white, and I thought he is going to faint. He recovered quickly, and since then he is walking on eggshells. He is even afraid to talk to me. The MC asked me in an individual session what it would take for me to stay in this marriage. I was speechless. I don't know. My first thought was that I want someone completely different. I didn't say that out loud because I was ashamed. I want to love someone, to laugh, to feel something. Oh gosh, I'm so screwed up. We talked yesterday for an hour. He took me out for lunch for our anniversary, and I asked him how he is. He ordered just a salad. He looks tired, defeated, almost crying. It's hard for me to see him like this. He said he will do anything I want to make it work. Probably other people would be happy to hear this, but I just hate this desperation to make it work at any costs. Probably I am checked out, as everyone says. He says he cannot change the past, just work on him from now on. And that he can't believe I am ready to throw away a 25-year relationship for what he said in the past. He keeps repeating over and over that he just tried to help me to lose weight, and that he was losing his temper and verbally abusing me because he didn't know how else to make me understand. What he doesn't get is that all those fights chipped away all my love for him along the years. He asked why I didn't say then what I am saying now. I told him I did, he just didn't want to listen. What scares me is the intensity of his love for me. It's like a blind love, the kind you cannot live without. He cannot imagine a life without me. It's like an obsession. What the heck? He is begging me now to try to make this marriage work. He is being so subdued for the last few days, and I asked him why. He thinks this is what I want, him not having any opinion or say. I told him I don't need a doormat. I need a man. I never saw my H as a jerk. Never. And I know I have my share of blame for where we are right now. TBH, I could never and will never understand his feelings of having an overweight wife for so long. I can't understand because him, as my partner, was always so fit. It must have been hard for him too. That doesn't justify his abusive behavior, I know, but it must have been difficult for him to watch me gain weight and deteriorating my health. To respond to some of the questions, I am still in charge of most of the carpools for the kids. Housework is split between us. I am squeezing my exercise early mornings or late nights. I only sleep 4 to 5 hours a night now, trying to correct that. Maybe I am taking time from my family life to exercise, but I completely eliminated watching TV or some of my hobbies, just to keep up with the family needs. I started driving the kids 5 days after surgery, because I didn't want our life to be impacted too much by my decision. I didn't take my time to recover properly, and I see that now. He was very receptive of going to counseling. He did apologize for what he said in the past. And yes, the kids look up to him. The thing that keeps me on the fence is that I still see the same pattern of behavior when he feels he is losing the control. It's still the same passive-aggressive tone, just now he is trying more to stop himself before it gets out of hand. That's progress, I know. I do get more male attention, and that is a very new thing for me. Because I am not used to it, it felt creepy in the beginning. And my personal trainer is a young guy who is only a few years older than my son, so no, I don't think of him as good-looking. The eternal battle between the brain and the heart. Last weekend I made a conscious decision to work on the marriage. Well, it doesn't work that way. I feel like I'm in one of those video games where you go up step by step and then you fall hard and hit the ground. We had a very tense MC session. The counselor told us to try not to be physical in any way for 2 weeks. No kissing, no touching, nothing. My husband was on the fence on this. He said it's not like we are having any contact now. The therapist was trying to take the pressure off me, as my H is expecting me to make the first step and initiate. So, the MC wants 2 weeks with no physical contact on both sides. After 30 minutes of back and forth between them, with me almost a spectator, the MC told my H that most couples in our situation are getting a divorce and that he needs to trust him and try harder. This is coming after my H had an individual session with him. From his reaction, I understand that my H was told not to initiate anything with me and he did not respect that last week. So, the MC is a bit frustrated. An update: my heart is so heavy, I can't seem to get my head together. We stopped going to counseling. My H refuses to go. There is no point anyway. He blatantly refuses to follow any suggestions from the MC. He keeps saying that he loves me, he wants me and can't live without me. He cannot give me space, like the MC advised him. He cannot ignore me. He continues to try to have physical contact with me, always trying to touch, kiss and massage me. I got to a point that my skin crawls when I feel him getting close to me. It's such a physical reaction. I feel I am holding my breath and wait for the danger to pass. I think it's very selfish of him not to listen to my request for space. The MC said he is shooting himself in the leg by doing all this. I moved to the basement for a few weeks, then moved back to the bedroom. I really tried to let him get close to me, but I simply can't. I am dead inside. I told him I don't love him anymore, and since then he is even more caring and loving. But when the bubble bursts and we get into a fight, the old him is back. Same controlling, passive-aggressive behavior, still cornering me and asking for explanations for every little thing. He is extremely bothered by the fact that I go to the gym. I changed my trainer from a male to a female. I thought this might help, but it didn't. He is starting to get jealous, and this is a new side of him I've never seen before. He tells me he loves me and that I'm beautiful every freaking minute. I told him he is suffocating me. He still does it. And he says this in front of the kids, and they look at me expecting me to say it back, especially the older one, who is aware of the problems we have. After Christmas, I will suggest a separation. I cannot live like this. Hopefully he will be open to a discussion on this. I am just afraid he will turn the kids against me. That's my main worry. I feel like a coward for not taking a decision. To be honest, I am afraid of being alone. I've been with him since I was 15. I don't even know how to not be in a couple. Not sure if this makes sense. Maybe it's just weakness or fear, but this is how I feel. I do consider myself a strong woman. I went through a lot and I am keeping this family afloat for so many years, but maybe I am not as strong as I think I am. It's not that I need a man. I am quite independent. I like my alone time, but when you are used to something for 25 years, it's hard to cut the cord. Every time I say, that's it, I'm done, I keep thinking that overall, he is a good guy that loves me and the kids. A friend told me that I will never find someone to love me as much as my H does. I hope I will find someone, because after so many years of not feeling anything, I do want to find someone to love. And another thing that scares me, it's how he is going to cope with a separation. I do care about him. I want him to be okay. I know the beginning will be rough, but in the long run, I want us to be on good terms and for him to find some peace. On top of all this, my older son is 100% behind his dad. They had a discussion about a month ago. I found out a few days ago. My H told him about the MC, the fact that I can't let go of the past, of what he said to me along the years, and that he is doing everything now to keep the family together. Now my son is pressuring me to forgive him and go on with our lives. I had to tell him how I feel, and we had an hour-long discussion on this. My son is so much like his dad, it scares me. He did understand my point of view, but he told me his little brother deserves the same chance he had in life, to have 2 parents to raise him. I was heartbroken when I heard that. He wants us together at any price. I have a hard year ahead with a few major surgeries, but even that, it's not worth staying. He was talking about taking time off to take care of me, and all I was thinking was that won't be necessary. We won't be together. And all this Christmas music in the stores. It's going to be the last Christmas with all 4 of us in the same house. An update: we finally had the talk on Saturday. I know, I let this drag for way too long. Anyway, it didn't go well. I felt like a babbling 7-year-old who cannot articulate her thoughts. When I talk to my sister or my best friend, I have everything very clear in my head. But when he started talking, I lost all my verbal capacities. Recovered at the end of the discussion, found my voice a little bit, but I'm still so disappointed in me and how I handled myself. At the beginning, I was afraid of hurting him too much. And then he started being very vocal and, in my face, he even started swearing, which he usually doesn't. I was numb. He cannot understand how come the last 6 months were not enough for me to get over all this crap and get back to where we were. He said he loves me and he will fight to keep the family together, and accused me of not making an effort to get closer to him, to be more loving. I told him that I don't love him anymore, and although maybe there is still a small hope that we will find our way back together, for now we need to separate. He was fuming. It was a 2-hour discussion. I'm not going into too much detail, but the conclusion was that he will sleep in the basement and we will decide how and when to tell the kids. This was at midnight. He came back to the bedroom at 4 a.m., got into the bed and fell asleep. In the morning he was slamming doors and not talking to me. Then at noon he brought me flowers and told me he loved me, in front of my older son, again. I can tell he is a mess. He is desperate. But there were 2 things that kind of got me to the breaking point. First was the fact that with all the discussions we had, he continues to be or try to be physical with me. I was waking up middle of the night with his hands under my t-shirt and massaging me all the time, trying to kiss me. It was creeping me out. Secondly, it was a comment he made about me that set me off. I was talking to my son about my gym routine and he was giving me some tips. My husband got into the discussion and asked me if now I want to put on muscle. I said yes. He said women don't look good with muscle. After so many years of hearing comments about my appearance, I just lost my temper. I realized it's just his way of trying to control me and my mind. I just had enough. Something snapped inside me and, in that moment, I was done. I know I might be very sensitive about these type of comments, but this is me now and I can't help it. I go to the gym every evening, after the kids go to sleep, and the results are showing. And I am proud of it. I work hard and I am not going to let him ruin this for me. Now, I am starting to plan my financial exit. Also, I need to talk to the therapist about how to approach the kids. I have a sports psychologist lined up for my older son, in case he needs it. I know it's going to be a long process, but I am ready. Tonight, I'm moving to the basement. For good this time. My conscience is at peace. I know what I've been through since 2011. Maybe I made a mistake not addressing this sooner, not sharing my story with my family or friends. And I do understand their reaction now. I've started sharing this with my sister and closest friends last May. Everyone was in shock, and most of them encouraged me to try to get over the resentment and work things out. For the longest time, I felt so alone in all this and said to myself, this is not such a big deal, I should be able to get over it. But as someone said here, when you are done, you're done. My sister and I had a long discussion a few weeks ago. I was shocked to hear what she had to say. She apologized for not being more supportive. She said she wants me to be healthy, divorced or not, that my well-being is all that matters to her. And she said she will be here for me no matter what decision I will take. I felt such a relief, you can't even imagine. She is afraid that I will have a mental breakdown if I keep going like this, and she's not far from the truth. Meanwhile, my H has been sick, really sick. I helped him a bit, bought him pills and made sure he is comfortable. I did all the cooking, carpools and housework, although I had a minor leg surgery 2 days ago. He couldn't believe I am still going to the gym when he is so sick. I said kids are in bed, your fever is down, call me if you are not okay. He needs to get used to this. My main worry now is my oldest son. His competition schedule is packed for the next 2 months. He's going to Europe to train. His school workload is insane. So, I do worry about him and trying to find the right time to talk to him. The coach suggested he should see the sports psychologist. I just have to convince my son to do that. But I feel stronger now than I ever felt in the last 12 months, and I am starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I do feel stronger now. I've made my decisions. It was hard to hear the word cheater, as in my mind I was completely separated from H, but I understand if some of you think I am, and I respect your opinion. So, in the last few days I managed to have a few hard conversations with both H and the other man. H is moving out as soon as he finds a place to live. The divorce is on and I think he finally got the point. He seems at peace. No fights, no yelling. A very calm 4-hour discussion led to this decision. I stopped seeing the other man. We still talk as friends, text, but no meetings. My main focus now will be the kids. My older one is doing much better. He had some help from his coach and the sports psychologist too. We will talk to them next week to explain the situation. I am seeing my therapist to prepare for this talk with the kids. I know I am not perfect and I also know I am vulnerable now. And I've made a lot of mistakes in the last year, but all these mistakes brought me where I am today. I am so grateful I am still healthy and able to raise my children. There will be a few more bumps in the road for me, but believe me, I have never been more confident that I will get through this and will find the balance that I crave so much. Some people think that I cheated. And that's fine. I was still living in that house. I didn't know my rights. I thought he needs to sign the separation agreement in order for it to be legal. And although we were separated for months when I met that guy, people still consider this an affair. I never put labels on that relationship. It wasn't planned, I was vulnerable and I needed support. When I finally hired a lawyer, she explained that I was legally separated the moment I voiced my intention to him to separate. That's how the law works where I live. So, I was legally separated when I met the other guy. And that's the date considered for our divorce. And I wasn't hiding. He knew I was going out. I never shared too many details as it wasn't his business. But he knew his name. Kids knew I started seeing someone. I never lied as to where I am, maybe just omitting my whereabouts. And that because he was following me and causing scenes with the other guy, happened twice, I was afraid they will end up in jail. And the double standard comes into place here. My ex started dating, sometimes going on 5 dates with 5 different women in 2 weeks. He shared that info with me. He wanted to make me jealous, I understand, but still, he was entitled to do that while I was having an affair. He is seeing someone now, he is still obsessed with me and that's it. I'm living with it. I hope he finds his peace and happiness and leaves me alone. I really don't want to hurt him. I care about him. I took him to emergency when he was sick. I cooked, did his laundry, cleaned, cared for him while separated but still living together. I want all the best for him and I think we can get to a place of harmony as co-parents. I just want to move on. I have the kids 50% of the time. I'm in a relationship that brings me joy and confidence and challenges my mind. The kids are adjusting and are happier than in the last 2 years, and that's what's important now. Seeing their parents civilized and friendly changed everything for them. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. I made my share of mistakes. But for sure I'm in a better place than I thought I will be. I had the courage to do something about my situation and not live on autopilot anymore. The fear of unknown, the uncertainty in my life. Yes, I struggle with that. I'm still seeing the therapist to help me deal with that. He was a great help in making me understand how to transition the kids to their new life. I strongly believe in that saying, the toughest relationship you'll have after an abusive relationship is the one with yourself. Lots of work ahead of me, but I'm getting there. My ex found out about this man a few weeks into the relationship. Kids too. We were separated, legally, as per the law. And we didn't talk about seeing other people because I didn't think it's his problem. And yes, my son knows I'm seeing someone and he stood up for me. He told his dad that what he's doing is wrong. The verbal abuse was too much even for the kids to hear. As I said, I made mistakes. I'm not perfect. Ultimately, this story is about me falling out of love due to some circumstances. Years ago, nothing to do with a third party. I stopped bringing up the verbal abuse. He will never admit he did something wrong. And I'm not going to waste my life trying to make him understand. Yes, I was fat. Yes, he stayed with me. But he didn't have to. No one should be subjected to abuse in any circumstances. It was my choice to stay for so many years. And his failure to understand and work on the problem was the end of us. And as a side note, I waived all my rights for spousal support. I'm not after his money. We both are starting new lives. I'm not going to chain him to me and make him pay for 20 years. I hope he will find someone that he spends his life with, happy. I don't want our relationship to be looming above his head for years. He got most of the assets, new car, we just split the equity in the house. And this guilt that people put on me, I can deal with that now. I don't need the approval of others to go on with my life. I took a decision and I stuck with it. That's it. And I do come back here for updates, not to get a pat on the back, but maybe to help others that are struggling. I was on the edge for so long, and maybe a story of resilience and pain and hope will help them see their life in a different light. My comment, you guys think she was cheating, or she was just taking an escape? Comment down below, sub and bell and stay strong in your marriages.